Welcome back. Today, we explore the value of these top 10 most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins that could make you a millionaire. Let's counting one by one. First up, the Washington quarter dollar 1966, introduced in 1932 to honor the nation's first president, George Washington, has seen multiple designs throughout the years. By 1966, the quarter had evolved into its familiar form with a striking portrait of Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The 1966 coin is significant because it marks the final year of the initial post-World War II period of minting. It also comes at a time when the U.S. government was still transitioning from silver-based currency to copper, nickel alloy coins. The 1966 quarter was minted without any changes to the design, which remained the same from the 1930s. Despite being part of a series of coins that saw extensive circulation, the 1966 Washington quarter stands out due to the rare occurrence of lamination errors, which will be the focus of today's discussion. The Washington quarter features a left-facing bust of George Washington on the obverse, and on the reverse, a heraldic eagle stands proudly with its wings spread. The eagle holds an olive branch in one claw and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength. The 1966 quarter, without a mint mark, would have been struck at the Philadelphia Mint, making it part of the last group of quarters without mint marks, which was later reinstated in 1968. Lamination errors, which we'll discuss further in the next section, occur when the metal strip used for striking coins is not fully bonded. This results in defects that can include peeling or cracking, making these coins highly prized by collectors who specialize in minting errors. The 1966 Washington quarter was minted in large numbers, with more than 450 million produced. However, despite the high mintage, a Washington quarter in lamination damage condition is rare. While lamination errors are not unique to the 1966 quarter, they are uncommon enough to drive up interest from collectors, particularly those focusing on error coins. Lamination damage typically decreases a coin's grade, and a coin in this condition would generally be graded lower, often in the good to fine range. Nevertheless, the value of such a coin can still be significant. In today's market, a 1966 Washington quarter in lamination damage condition can fetch anywhere from $500,000 at auction, depending on the severity and visibility of the damage. Coins in better condition with less severe lamination defects can command higher prices, particularly if they are graded by professional organizations like CGs or NGC. The lamination error itself is what truly drives collector interest for this coin. Errors, especially ones that affect the visual appeal of the coin in such a dramatic way, are highly collectible. The lamination defect gives the coin a unique character that other more pristine coins cannot match. Furthermore, collectors of Washington quarters, as well as those focused on error coins, are willing to pay a premium for these interesting and historically significant variations. Given that only a small percentage of coins struck during 1966 have this error, the lamination damage coin becomes a unique piece within the series. Coin collectors tend to look for coins with characteristics that make them stand out, and this coin does just that, combining rarity, historical context, and a fascinating imperfection. Next up, the 1965 Washington quarter was part of a monumental shift in U.S. coinage. After a nationwide silver shortage, the U.S. government decided to eliminate silver from most of its coinage, including the quarter. This shift marked the transition to a copper nickel-clad composition, which would dominate U.S. coinage for decades. The 1965 Washington quarter was among the first to be struck, using this new composition, making it a key coin in the series. The coin's design remained unchanged from its predecessors, with the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse. The reverse design, featuring the American eagle, was also retained. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter particularly interesting, apart from the change in material, is the presence of a large date. The large date variety is somewhat more common than its small date counterpart, but it still holds significant value in today's market due to its historical context and relatively lower mintage when compared to other years. As with all Washington quarters, the obverse features the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington. The reverse of the 1965 quarter features the American eagle, with its wings spread wide, standing on an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. The large date variety of the 1965 quarter features larger numbers in the date than the small date variety, which was released in the same year. While this large date design was used in most of the 1965 quarters, there is a notable collector interest in those coins that were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which were produced without a mint mark. While the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark was produced in large quantities, over 1 billion were minted. The value of the coin today is driven by its historical significance and the condition of the coin. A 1965 quarter in good condition, with moderate wear but no major damage, typically fetches between $99,000 in the market. However, if the coin is graded higher in fine or better condition, its value can rise significantly, reaching $98,500 at auction. Collector interest also plays a huge role in determining its market value. Because the 1965 quarter is the first year of production for the copper, nickel-clad quarter, many collectors seek out the best possible examples of this coin. While the 1965 quarter is not particularly rare, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark are of special interest to collectors. There was a short period during 1965 when the U.S. Mint failed to mint marks on quarters, making these unmarked coins rarer and more desirable for collectors. Although this error was not intentional, it adds an element of uniqueness to the coin, driving up its demand. Moreover, collectors often seek out the best examples of coins with high-grade strikes and fewer imperfections. So, a 1965 Washington quarter in good or better condition, especially with a large date variety, can command a premium in the collector market. Next up, the 1982 Washington quarter is part of the more modern era of coinage and falls within the broader context of the Kennedy and Eisenhower coinage period. By the 1980s, the U.S. Mint had established its new methods for producing coins, including the use of more sophisticated minting technologies. The 1982 Washington quarter, like many of its 1980s counterparts, was struck in copper, nickel-clad, and the production process had improved significantly from earlier years. The large date variety of the 1982 Washington quarter was produced alongside a small date variety, with the large date being more commonly seen. The D-Mint mark on this particular coin, which indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, adds another layer of rarity and interest. The 1982 Washington quarter features the same design as its predecessors, with George Washington's portrait on the obverse. The reverse of the coin features the familiar eagle perched on an olive branch, a symbol of strength and peace. What sets this coin apart is the presence of AD mint mark error, which indicates a flaw in the minting process. The black color shade refers to a unique discoloration that may occur during the minting process, causing certain areas of the coin to appear darker or unevenly toned. The mintage for the 1982 Washington quarter was substantial, with hundreds of millions of coins struck that year. However, the market value for a coin with an error mint mark is significantly higher, especially for those coins with a unique black shade or discoloration. In today's market, a 1982 Washington quarter in dirty condition with AD mint mark error could fetch anywhere between $89,000, depending on the extent of the error and how it is graded. Coins with unique coloration or visible minting errors are of particular interest to error coin collectors, and this can significantly increase the value at auction. Errors are a major driving factor for collector interest. The D mint mark error combined with the black discoloration, makes this coin an attractive target for error coin collectors. Minting errors, especially those that result in unique visual features. Next up, the 1974 Washington quarter is a part of the United States' long-standing tradition of issuing circulating coins bearing the likeness of George Washington. First introduced in 1932, the Washington quarter has seen various changes, including design updates and the introduction of special editions. By 1974, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned into a period of widespread coin production, handling the increasing demands of the U.S. economy. The 1974 coin itself is significant for collectors due to the particularities of its design. The obverse shows a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse showcases a majestic eagle, designed by Frank Gasparro, who succeeded the original reverse designer John Sinek in the 1960s. The most notable feature of the 1974 Washington quarter, however, is its mint mark. This coin, specifically with a D mint mark, indicates it was produced in the Denver Mint. The large date variant of the 1974 quarter makes it stand out from earlier coinage of the 1970s, adding a distinctive feature that is highly prized by collectors. The 1974 Washington quarter was minted in substantial quantities, making it somewhat common in terms of availability. However, the value of any coin is impacted by its condition, a dirty condition. Coin, while being less valuable in terms of face value, holds significance in niche collecting circles, where even coins with imperfections can fetch a decent price, particularly when the date and mint mark are part of a sought-after series. For the 1974 quarter, the large date with D mint mark in dirty condition can still hold market value, but it is typically much lower than one in pristine condition. Coins in average circulated condition can be worth between 50 cents to a few dollars, depending on the extent of the damage. However, if you happen to encounter a rare specimen or an uncommonly dirtied example that piques the interest of collectors, the value could surge. Coins from the 1970s are slowly gaining in collector interest as the market for vintage U.S. coins continues to grow. The primary factor that could elevate the value of the 1974 Washington quarter in dirty condition is any potential minting error, which is the true fascination for many collectors. The key errors to look out for with this coin include misstrikes, double strikes, or even die cracks. For instance, if a 1974 quarter is found with a misaligned die or a noticeable doubling of the design, it could significantly increase its value. In dirty condition, this would not make the coin pristine, but it would still attract attention from error coin collectors who might overlook some dirt or grime if the error is significant. Despite being in a dirty condition, the historical context of the 1974 coin and its distinct large date feature makes it a noteworthy piece. Collectors interested in the Washington quarter series will consider every variation, including those with less than ideal condition. A quarter like this could still be a valuable addition to a comprehensive collection, especially for those focused on gathering as many different examples of the series as possible. Next up, the Washington quarter of 1980 continued the legacy of George Washington's portrait on the obverse, while maintaining the reverse design of the bald eagle, symbolizing American strength. This coin belongs to a series that was struck between 1932 and 1998, before the mint transitioned to the state quarter designs in 1999. By 1980, the U.S. Mint had seen significant changes in its production processes, with advancements in coin-making technology and stricter quality control measures. The design of the 1980 Washington quarter is familiar, yet it is distinct in its own right due to the intricacies of minting processes. The coin features the large date design, which means the 8 in 1980 is larger than typical dates found in previous years. A notable error for this coin is the D mint mark error, where coins struck at the Denver Mint exhibit variations that do not align with the expected specifications. Some 1980 quarters from Denver are marked by ADE, mint mark that was improperly applied or misaligned, which elevates the coin's value for collectors who specialize in minting errors. The mintage for the 1980 Washington quarter with the D mint mark was substantial, but when the coin is found with errors, especially a mint mark anomaly, its market value can rise dramatically. For standard 1980 quarters, even those in relatively good condition, prices are generally modest, hovering between $256,000 depending on the quality of the coin. However, when it comes to a large date variant with a mint mark error, the value can shoot upwards, especially for those in collector grade condition or those found with striking flaws that increase their rarity. In dirty condition, the coin's value would likely be reduced, but if the error is visible and noticeable despite the wear, it could still fetch higher prices in the market. On average, coins in dirty condition might sell for $300,000, but a mint mark error coin in poor condition can sometimes yield even more, especially at specialized auctions or through dedicated dealers who cater to error coin collectors. The error associated with this coin is crucial to its market value. The D-mint mark error could be caused by a number of issues during the minting process, such as a worn die, which leads to misplacement or alteration of the mint mark. In dirty condition, collectors might look past the grime if the error is distinctive enough. Such coins often capture the imagination of numismatists because they deviate from the expected design, making them rare and thus valuable. Collectors who are focused on Washington quarters or error coins will find this 1980 version particularly intriguing. Despite the dirt or wear, collectors of minting errors are often more interested in the rarity and historical significance of such variations than in the overall aesthetic condition of the coin. In this context, the 1980 Washington quarter with AD error mint mark in dirty condition holds appeal, especially when it comes to specialized collections of error coins or incomplete sets. Next up, the 1971 Washington quarter is a part of the ongoing series honoring George Washington. The large date design was introduced in 1971, following the smaller date from earlier years. This is the year when the coin became widely recognized due to its design changes and the shift to a new era in U.S. coinage. The 1971 quarter saw the continuation of Flanagan's portrait of Washington and Gasparo's reverse eagle, both of which would become iconic features of U.S. numismatics for decades. The 1971 quarter is also noteworthy due to the presence of the D mint mark on certain coins. The Denver Mint, one of the primary U.S. mint facilities, struck millions of these quarters. The D mint mark on the 1971 coin indicates that it was produced in Denver, but the real excitement lies in the potential for error coins in this year's batch. AD, mint mark error, could be the result of a misaligned die or improperly struck mint mark, making these coins more desirable for error coin collectors. The 1971 Washington quarter saw a high mintage, which means it is relatively abundant in the market. However, the key to a coin's value lies in its condition and potential errors. The 1971 quarters are highly sought after by collectors due to their large date feature, which makes them distinct from other Washington quarters produced in the 1970s. AD mint mark error in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $26,000, depending on the presence of any other abnormalities or if the coin is graded by professional agencies. The value could be even higher if the coin is found in mint state or if it's graded as an error piece. For a 1971 quarter with AD, mint mark error in very fine condition, collectors will likely bid higher in a competitive auction environment, particularly if they are filling specific gaps in their Washington quarter series. The error aspect of this coin is what truly drives its appeal among collectors. A misaligned or improperly struck mint mark can lead to increased interest, especially when it's part of a larger collection of Washington quarters. Even in very fine condition, such errors provide a unique twist to the coin's history, marking it as one that deviates from the regular minting process. Collectors are drawn to these coins because of the story behind them, the imperfections that make each coin unique. For dedicated Washington quarter collectors, the 1971 large date with a D mint mark error is a must-have. The market for error coins is ever expanding, and as collectors continue to chase rare pieces, the value of such coins is likely to continue appreciating, especially for those in very fine or better condition. Next up, the 1972 Washington quarter dollar with the large date and D error mint mark is one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in the modern series. This coin stands out because of a rare error that occurred during the minting process, which collectors find fascinating and highly sought after. Before we dive into the error itself, let's set the stage with some background information about the coin. The Washington quarter dollar was first minted in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington, marking the bicentennial of his birth. This series replaced the previous Standing Liberty design and has been continuously minted since. The coin features a detailed portrait of Washington on the obverse, while the reverse features an eagle perched on a branch, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength. For the 1972 issue, the large date design was introduced alongside a small date version. The large date version was more prominent, with the numbers in the date appearing larger and more spaced out compared to the smaller date variety, which is a key feature collectors look for. The coin is made of a cupro-nickel alloy with a weight of 6.25 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. The total mintage of the 1972 Washington quarter was quite large, with over 490 million coins being produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, not all of these coins were produced in the large date variety. The small date variety, which was produced in smaller numbers, is more commonly found, making the large date version rarer and more valuable to collectors. What sets the 1972 D error mint mark apart is the mistake that occurred during its production. Some coins were struck with a D mint mark from the Denver mint, but were produced with an incorrectly punched die. This resulted in a mismatched or overpunching of the D mint mark. These error coins are highly prized because they are rare and make for an interesting and unique addition to a collection. This error typically results in a misalignment of the mint mark, which can be seen by a slight doubling or extra mark around the D mint mark. The presence of this error on a coin that is already rare makes it a prized possession for numismatists. The 1972 Washington quarter with D error mint mark is currently valued at several $100s in very fine condition. However, the value can dramatically rise depending on the rarity and condition of the coin, especially if it has been graded highly by a reputable grading service like PG's or NGC. Coins with a clear and distinct error are incredibly attractive to both error collectors and general enthusiasts. In auction markets, it is not uncommon to see the value of a well-preserved coin from this series skyrocket, sometimes reaching over $9,000 in pristine condition. The error aspect of the 1972 D Washington quarter has made it highly desirable to collectors, particularly those who specialize in mint errors. Due to its historical significance and the nature of the error, it holds a special place in numismatic circles. Error collectors are always on the lookout for rare misprints, and this coin is one of the top contenders. Additionally, collectors who specialize in Washington quarter dollars are also attracted to this coin due to its unique place in the series, adding another layer of interest. As a result, this coin is often sold at higher than expected prices, especially when its condition is above average. Next up, the 1988 Washington quarter dollar with the P mint mark is an iconic coin in the history of the Washington Quarter series. Produced by the Philadelphia Mint, it represents an important year in the history of modern U.S. coinage. Although it may not feature any mint errors, its value is driven by the condition, rarity, and the interest collectors have in this specific issue. By 1988, the design of the Washington Quarter had remained mostly unchanged for over 50 years. The front of the coin features the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse features a majestic eagle, which is a hallmark of the series. This design has become synonymous with American coinage, as the Washington quarter dollar is one of the longest-running coins in U.S. history. In 1988, the minting process for the Washington quarter remained consistent with prior years, and the coin was produced in large quantities. This particular issue with the P mint mark was created at the Philadelphia Mint, which is noteworthy because the P mint mark had only been introduced a few years earlier in 1980 for regular coin production. The 1988 Washington quarter saw a large mintage, totaling 617 million coins across all varieties. However, unlike the 1972 variety, the 1988 coin does not have the same prominence in terms of mint errors or special features. Despite its large production numbers, the coin has gained attention due to its circulated condition and historical context. The P mint mark indicates it was produced in Philadelphia, which gives it a different collector appeal compared to quarters produced at the Denver or San Francisco mints. In circulated condition, the 1988 Washington quarter has a modest value. Its value is generally in the $35,000 range for typical circulated coins. However, in uncirculated or higher-grade conditions, the coin can fetch prices upwards of $34,000, while it doesn't command the astronomical values of rarer coins or error varieties. Its significance as part of the Washington Quarter series has contributed to its steady demand among collectors. Collectors interested in completing their collections of Washington Quarters will often seek out the 1988 P coin, as it represents an important piece in the mid-1980s series. Although not known for any errors or dramatic minting issues, it is still an important piece of modern American coinage. Moreover, it serves as a valuable reference for those studying the evolution of U.S. coin production, especially in terms of the introduction of the P mint mark in the 1980s. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar, especially in very fine condition, is another significant coin that has captured the interest of collectors due to its historical context, unique features, and increasing market value. The 1967 Washington quarter dollar continues the tradition established by the U.S. Mint in 1932, celebrating George Washington's legacy with a stunning design that portrays him in profile. The obverse of the coin features the familiar image of Washington designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse shows the American eagle. By 1967, the U.S. had already experienced significant changes in its economy and its approach to coinage. The 1965-1967 era was a transitional period for U.S. coinage, which shifted from silver to clad coins, leading to a shift in the material composition of many circulating coins, including the Washington quarter. The 1967 Washington quarter was produced in massive quantities, totaling 382 million coins across all mint marks. The coin was released without any mint mark on the reverse, as was the case with the 1965-1967 years due to a shortage of space on the reverse dies. This absence of a mint mark makes the coin a noteworthy variant. While this coin doesn't have the same errors or unique features as some of the rarer varieties, it is still valuable due to its status as part of the series. In very fine condition, The 1967 Washington quarter typically ranges between $52,000, however. Higher-grade specimens, especially those showing minimal wear, can fetch prices around $56,000. While not as sought after as error coins, the 1967 Washington quarter is still highly valued among collectors who focus on completing sets of Washington quarters from different years and mintages. Its place in U.S. coinage history, particularly during the shift from silver to clad coins, makes it an important piece to many collectors. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more detailed coin breakdowns and the latest in the world of numismatics. See you in the next video.